Alright. Gotta get right. Straight from the O where we keep shit moving, abusing these rap niggas and they mad 'cause they losing.
Live from the Mighty Veedverks Airship, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Verks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks.
And I'm Julie Richardson. I'm the Director of Commercialization and Promotions. And we have with us Canafam Glen Mayes.
Hello, I'm Glen Mayes of Coalescent Labs. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. We're playing Dre Gaines in the background. Up. We're going to try... Oh, I forgot. I wanted to try this as well. What are you going to...
I am actually going to do a watch party. I'm going to share this and see if I can't get some of the followers that I have on my page to follow. So it's kind of a cool little thing Facebook's got.
If I try to go live on Instagram, do I have to hold down the video button the whole time?
Gee, I hope not.
I think you have to slide over and go to live and just go live. I don't think.
Wait. Hold on a second. What is... Wait, let's... Okay, hold your phone up next to that microphone again. That was weird. Did you guys hear that? I'm super paranoid about sound problems. So all I have to do is hit go live on...
Yeah.
And then I can go live on Instagram?
I believe so.
All right, so I'll do that. Just going to check my connection.
Is it making a weird sound now?
Huh? No, it's not. It seems like we've made it past that. So there's the flip around button. Everybody, so going live on Instagram for the first time now. Spur of the moment. So anyway, so Glen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Glen Mayes. I'm from Texas. I was born and raised in Abilene. Moved from Austin. I spent 11 years in Austin. I did a lot of different things growing up. I was a correctional officer, juvenile correctional officer for 10 years. Ran for school board after that. What else? Built an after-school program, Halo.
Acted in some stuff.
Acted. I was an actor in a couple of movies.
Free State of Jones.
Free State of Jones. I did a couple of TV shows.
Dust to Dawn.
Leftovers
on
yes,
HBO.
Leftovers on HBO. And so like I've had my hand a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been amazing to have developed all those skills and to come to Colorado and try to share some of my skills and at the same time do the best I can for my son.
Right.
So your son has a disease called polymicrogyria. Is that right? Polymicrogyria?
Polymicrogyria. Yeah.
And that's how you ended up in Colorado?
Yeah. So we found out, I guess, I knew something was up about 4 months in utero whenever we went and got a sonogram done. The lady that got it done for us was like, hey, there's something you should watch out for in his right ventricle. His right ventricle is swollen, so you might want to check into that. That might be an issue. So that wasn't anything that we could control at the time. So we tried to do as much as we could. And then about 2.5 months after he was born, that's when we knew that he had issues. We took him into our midwife at the time said that we needed to take him into the special infectious disease doctor because they thought he had cytomegalovirus, CMV.
Right.
And so like whenever we found out that wasn't the situation and done all the tests and kind of difficult. Palsy, as well as delayed reaction, delayed motor ability, and epilepsy.
So before we skipped a whole bunch of your life, so
okay, yeah.
You have so many good, just informative things to tell people from life experience. So when you were a corrections officer for...
Yes. Juvenile corrections officer for 10 years, and the big part about that is I learned so much about pharmaceutical medications. A lot of those situations were really interesting whenever you see what a lot of these kids are prescribed, from Depakote to lithium to Seroquel. So I was certified to give them medications that made supervisor level, and You have to read this DSM-4 and to know what all the contraindications are, to know what the possibilities of what that kid could be going through at that time.
Yeah, the side effects.
The side effects. So a lot of times I'd end up, you know what I mean, making sure those kids were still breathing whenever they went to sleep, and it was nerve-wracking, you know, to understand that a lot of that stuff isn't tested for that age group. To know that they are on such high levels of narcotics, it's unreal.
Right. A lot of the testing is done on adult males, you know, not young boys that are going through hormonal changes and growing. And
this is boys and girls.
Yeah, boys and girls. Oh, even worse.
This is boys and girls, and so like the one of the worst cases that I saw was most confusing was a 10-year-old who was on lithium. So that was interesting on so many levels. Yeah, very interesting.
So, when you found out that, or could you tell us a little bit about just Orion and how you found out that he was sick, and then just talk to us a little bit about this disease. And I'm curious then if you also followed a traditional pharmaceutical path toward trying to get him well before you ultimately moved here.
Oh no, we were adamant about not doing a lot of those pharmaceuticals because I knew about them. You know, a lot of the preventatives and stuff like that. I was like, no, I know exactly what that's going to do. That's going to take away from so many aspects that we want him to do. We want him to learn to try to do things. We don't want him to try to just be static at where he is. You know what I mean? Like, there's possibilities of you increasing your neurological capability, so let's go there.
Yeah.
I believe in neuroplasticity. I know I have at least the first 8 years of his life to play with that. You know what I mean? Play with that. But to give the brain what it needs. I definitely believe we're a cannabinoid deficient society. The federal government has been taking cannabinoids out of our food since the early 30s. And that just creates a different cycle about what our nutrition it really is and who supplies our food. So.
I keep thinking about here is this precious 2-month-old baby, and it's having to go through such horrible things like spinal taps and blood work and
that was interesting. Whenever they did the spinal tap and to check the cerebral spinal fluid, it's probably one of the most I don't even know how to say it, but like whenever you vulnerable, you know what I mean? Whenever you have to give your kid up to that type of situation, and you know
We lost our audio.
Hello? Mic check.
There, it's back.
Okay.
All right, this microphone, this is the last freaking time. We've been I don't know when we lost the audio, but and I don't know where I put my phone. Oh, there it is. I was messing around with Instagram.
Appreciate those people.
So, all right, I'm gonna keep watching that audio meter. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No worries.
It's Dieter.
It is. It's live. This is live.
I think this
people.
microphone
this
has just had it. I think that we've used it for a good long period of time, and we've put it through some abuse, and I think it's time to say goodbye to this microphone and to up our game. We have to get new microphones.
Yes.
We're going to get, and we might as well do it right. We're going to get dynamic microphones that go into a mixing board, and then Bubba's going to control it, and our audio game's going to be on point starting really, really soon.
Well, I'm excited about that because I have the kind of voice that projects. And so it'd be good. Yeah, it'd be So, I'm always thinking about, is my voice too loud? And that's the first thing I look for when I review is my voice.
Well, watch
too loud.
that thing.
You're from the South. I think you're okay.
Right. Well, and that, and I was trained to speak publicly, so
Let's see.
did a little theater, not like you by no way, shape, or form.
Hey, that was the luck of the draw. I stumbled into that. You know what I mean? That was just something that I was there at the right place at the right time.
Well, I'm glad I know that because there's a theater troupe that has a lot of Canafam in it, and one of the guys that runs it, a patient. He has something that's very much like MS,
Mm.
but he still performs and he's still part of his theater troupe.
Gotcha.
So, that's another alternative. What else are we going to do in the snow in the wintertime?
Seriously. Work out or get inside
Yeah.
of a theater and act. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of staying home doing board games, watching TV, and munching and stuff like that.
I don't know where we were, but I feel like we were on a good roll with
We were.
asking,
We were.
asking about I guess the transition.
The transition.
Talking about the baby.
About when we knew and everything like that. So whenever we found out, I did not do traditional medication. I could not. I knew about all those medications because of the work that I was doing with juveniles and seeing those pharmaceuticals. So my wife and I really bogged down, and we did not want to do the traditional track that a lot of the doctors suggested. And I'm thankful that we didn't go about a lot of some of those same people who are conditioned to do what they feel is best for their child that may not be the best in the initial process. So we were able to take our time and make decisions, and in making those decisions, I think we allowed him the best platform to be able to change his or provide more for his homeostasis. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yesterday when we were going over the topics of how we were going to talk about it, you had a list going of all the things that weren't supposed to be happening and he wasn't supposed to have the ability to have.
Yeah.
How fast did you start seeing changes like that?
Okay, so a lot of it is him too. I mean, this kid is a fighter. You know what I mean? Like the way he wants to do well. You know what I mean? Like he wants to be healthy. Like he wants to try to do things. He wants to try to roll over. If I didn't have that spirit inside of him, it would be a totally different situation. You know. They said he was going to be partially blind. You know what I mean? And so from that aspect, we had this amazing optometrist and did this procedure. Kind of corrected his eyes, and he was like, hey, it's all up to his neurological power, you know what I mean, and what he can do and how he can rewire his brain to see this, to bring strabismus and nystagmus, I believe. Dang, I got that right. And so it's crazy whenever you hear all these words and everything like that, you get so conditioned, and you research them, and they get plugged in. You don't realize whenever you call them, they're gonna be right there. So that was amazing to have that happen, and that was in the first like 3 or 4 months whenever he had that surgery, whenever he was younger. Whenever we moved here, before we moved here, I was trying some cannabis. I was trying some cannabis, and I was like, okay, let's see if this works. And then boom, some CBD. And CBDs were kind of doing it, but not really helping. And I was like, I gotta get to where I have access to this stuff. And I had a great record in Texas, being the beautiful shade of color that I am, sometimes targeted for, you know what I mean, different kind of mess ups. And so I was definitely taking care of that side of my life as much as possible. And we had to make that move. You know, we had to come to where it was legal and to be able to set him up with the best possible situation, and cleaner resources.
Right. You know, you tipped on. I come from a for-profit prison state, and it's completely different. You know, the bias, the absolute. You know, you'll see somebody get targeted, literally targeted. I know my son, he liked to do the car clubs, you know, and he had several friends that were Latino.
Yeah, those guys are profiled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, pulled over all the time. Somebody he played ball with that he stayed really close to his whole life. They couldn't just go out as friends in Baton Rouge and not be pulled over, because what it looks like is a black boy in their minds helping a white boy score on some drugs. You know, it's not two friends going to the ball game or two friends going to the movies or anything like that. And you know, it's scary what you did. And you know, it took a lot of courage to pack up wife and a sick baby and let's do this. Well,
I mean, you come to a point. I feel like a lot of parents would do the same. That may not be the case, but I could not allow my son to just sit there and suffer if I knew there was an alternative. I've seen people doing it. I was following the stories of the other families doing it, the other people that have left Texas, the other people that have left other areas, and so it made it made all the sense in the world. You know, why wouldn't we do this? You know what I mean? At the same time, if we don't do this, what kind of parents are we? You know what I mean? Like that's not the reason you have a child. You don't have a child to say, oh well, we're in this situation and we'll just have to deal with it. No, how can I put you in the best possible situation to make the best of life?
Right. And then you have to stand up to the naysayers as well.
Man.
You know.
But I mean, those aren't the people that even like are in the focus right now. You know what I mean? Like we had a lot of people like, you know, well, what if this, and one of his pediatricians were like, well, it's not a cure all. Yeah, we know this, but at the same time, there's nothing that you're giving me that's going to benefit his system.
Yeah, they don't have a cure all either.
No.
And you super lucked up when you came out here and you got a primary care physician that was also a cannabis doctor.
That was huge.
Isn't that huge?
To try to find out, you know what I mean, more about like the system, you know what I mean, and how to plug in. How can I just go to this place, be here this short amount of time, get his card and my license and everything like that, and set it up for my family. You know what I mean? Right. I don't say it's not dedication. It's people not doing enough to get the right information. And I don't think there's even groups out there for people like me that give appropriate information. And they haven't for a while. And that's the part that's like a little disheartening as well. You come up here and you kind of like have to shoot in the dark for a while. You know what I mean? You don't really know exactly dosaging. You know what I mean? What my kid will like. Is it this FICO with chlorophyll in it? You know what I mean? And now we use a lot cleaner substance with Incredibles. You know what I mean? Those guys have been great for us. And with
shout out to Incredibles.
Yeah.
Incredibles well.
Bob Esquino.
Yeah, Bob and Steve. Those guys have been amazing. So Rick, thank you very much. We're on the wellness program, and that's been huge. There is no insurance program. You know what I mean? My kid wanted Valium. You know what I mean? Like we just had to call in an order. Boom. Medicaid to take care of that.
Yeah, Medicaid take care
of
it. No
take
charge.
Care of that. Yeah, no charge. But now that I want to give my son something that's going to benefit his system, that's out of pocket. And so like for families that like us that move here and have to go out of pocket, like you have to learn how to hustle for your kids in a whole different atmosphere. Whole different atmosphere. So
well, what all the different things did you try? Did you try the nasal sprays and tinctures? How did you land on Incredibles?
I didn't try the nasal sprays because I knew about the blood-brain barrier. You know what I mean? I knew about that process and the tricate. You know, you're not going to get the efficiency that you need from that. I saw a different process. I saw the roll-on of feet, transdermal skin processes of what that was happening. I was like, okay, yes, this is happening. We tried that. That stuff worked great. You know what I mean? Transdermals. You know what I mean? Going on the skin, everything like that.
I do well with it too.
Raven made shout out. And then we moved to what we could get the most available. You know what I mean? When we could, and we tried the patches. The patches didn't really work because some of those were sprayed on. You know what I mean? Some of those were sprayed on. And it was kind of really cool because you learn that some of these processes are ineffective. Right. If they had a machine to do the roll-on, that would be great, you know what I mean? But there's still human error in some of those stuff, you know what I mean? And the lotions, just how effective a topical is as opposed to a transdermal, you know what I mean? And then when nanotechnology started to make its way around, we started paying attention to that because with the kid with cerebral palsy, they're in a wheelchair, you know what I mean? And they're trying to walk and their joints are different, you know what I mean? Their movements are different, so they develop calluses in different places.
Right.
So have an appropriate topical or transdermal, should we say, transdermal would be a lot more effective for him. Those have been all just, trial and errors, you know what I mean? Like when we came here, we had a great dispensary called Living Rose right now, and Living Wellness in Colorado Springs. They helped us out. Like that was a good target to start off, and then from there it was almost like, okay, what is the best product? Where can we get the cleanest stuff? There was a time when my son was getting a dirty distillate. We were getting a dirty distillate, and it had to deal with azidactrin, and there was too much azidactrin. Azidactrin was being used as a pesticide, right? Yes, and so it followed all the way through, and I can't believe it even came out of the testing. But it raised his ALD and ASLT levels in his liver, and it causes massive dehydration and stuff like that. And so, like, went to the hospital, and I was like, hey, I need him on fluids. I don't want to give him any of your stuff. Let me remove what I'm doing. Let me remove this distillate, right? removed that distillate, and within 12 hours, his numbers had dropped over 200 points.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, so now pay attention,
Right,
and follow what I'm doing here. We're not going to introduce anything else right now. Let's see this taper off. And so we were able to monitor him, through that process. And as it was dropping out, they were like, some of these doctors, I know they've gone to school for all this amount of time, but you've gone to school for cookie cutter situations. My kid is a special type of case, you know what I mean? And I feel like I've gotten a definite master level course in studying what he's going through.
Well, that's one of the things parents go through when they get tough diagnosis. They turn into amazing researchers, and they're going to go to the ends of the earth to save your child,
Yeah, that's and that's what it was. It was almost like a neurosis, you know what I mean? Waking up at 4 a.m., looking at the National Institutes of Health and trying to see where all the gray areas are, you know what I mean? Where can I navigate those parts of his diagnosis, you know what I mean? And learning about that, and learning about just different processes to rebuild synapses, brain synapses. Right. So it's crazy. I mean, I've learned a lot about the gray matter, you know what I mean? I've learned about parts of your brain that, we don't activate, that we should be trying to learn how to activate somehow.
Speaking of activating different parts of your brain, what do you think about Denver passing Initiative 301?
I can just say that was the most beautiful situation. I feel like in Denver specifically, we're creating an atmosphere to provide true natural medicinal health.
Mm-hmm.
And this is we're gonna be the shining light of a lot of people in the world, actually, by what I believe is coming next. I think the psilocybin was this great step. There's a lot of other therapeutic models out there that are trying different avenues. Mm-hmm. If we got funding for a lot of different things to happen on that level to be able to introduce it, we'd be in a fight with Big Pharma.
Well, earlier we were talking about all of the harmful side effects, that happen when somebody wants to give you something for depression or anxiety or what have you. And this Harvard studies that's coming, I think that had a lot to do with opening people's minds up and going, okay, maybe.
The Harvard study, Johns Hopkins University, they have good stuff coming out. I mean, there's two mixing of different things, that we didn't want to mix in the messaging and everything like that. And so it's been amazing to see where people are. I mean, 89,000 votes, you know what I mean? And that's amazing.
That was crazy. Yes. We thought it was, we thought we had lost, and everybody went home and, until late yesterday afternoon.
I had insider information. I knew there was 183, 182.
And you didn't call me? You didn't call
I had
your
insider
girl?
I mean, it's insider information. You know what I mean? I can't give that kind of stuff out. You know what I mean? But yeah, we were all waiting pins and needles, man. And because I think for a lot of people who deal with PTSD, anybody who's been a correctional officer for longer than two years, you've seen or done some stuff that you are not happy with, and you can't really rationalize. You know what I mean? And so to be able to deal with that on a mental level and provide for your mental health without doing all these side effects that lower your seizure threshold, you know what I mean, that cause constipation, you know what I mean, cause any type of other bodily issues. I think we're in a space to where we can really, really get back to true nature, true healing, in my opinion.
Give the cops shrooms.
Give the cops shrooms.
I mean, not against their knowledge. Convince the cops that they need shrooms.
Microdose the cops on shrooms. Give military LSD. That's what I suggest.
Well, I think they studied LSD in the military for quite a while, right?
They did. They didn't like the reaction they got.
Oh, they didn't.
No.
Oh.
Did we get too smart on them or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
No, it was just
they got too good at math.
They with the LSD stuff, they started not wanting to fight. You know what I mean, and not wanting to go to war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Made them peaceful.
Yeah, made them peaceful, and they would rather climb the trees, and there's actual studies about this, and there were documentations, videos of it. You know what I mean? And they didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? They totally changed their whole aggression model in their mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to this high grade military Adderall, if you will.
Yeah. Oh. With the little work I have to have done with recovery programs with veterans, You know, no wonder they stopped doing it.
It's intense, you know what I mean? My uncle was a Marine, and growing up around him and feeling like that volatility, you know what I mean? Like after certain points, you just realize like you need to leave the house, or you know what I mean? You're gonna experience something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's gonna be an experience, you know, to say the least. But yeah, just understanding different people, different modules of like how you have to change. He was a great all-American gymnast, you know what I mean, and went off to the military and went to the places that we weren't on paper. And when he came back, he was just different. You know what I mean? He had to do other things that, you know what I mean, following orders, if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the common thing. You know, I know of, in my family, there in my grandmother's house, there was this buffet, and it was nothing but pictures of everybody that had gone, and you know, some had come back, some haven't. And she'd point to one of my uncles and go, bless his heart, just never was the same, just never was, you know.
Yeah.
And that every family, that every military family has at least one of those stories, how, you know, one of them came back and it just never was able to reintegrate.
Yeah, and I don't think
society.
I don't think we did enough or have done enough for a long time, and even understanding what happens in conditioning. But that's a beautiful thing about, you know what I mean, conditioning. So
I have a question from Instagram, since I'm running this phone right now on Instagram at the same time. They're asking, which incredible products have you used?
So the incredible tinctures, the wellness, the 10-to-1, we use the THC heavy, and we also use the 1-to-1. The 1-to-1, it's been doing better for him in the evening. At night, we give him the amount of THC. It's about 20 milligrams for breakfast, about 40 milligrams for lunch, and then 100 to 150 milligrams at dinner. And we've definitely tricated up to that. He didn't start. We did the first one. We had FICO. We did, you know, half a grain of rice. You know what I mean, and just try to understand where his system is and go up from there. And of course, he's been a patient now. This is his 3rd year having a medical card. So that's not anything that we started at. I slow and go. Okay, that's what everybody's going to tell you. Everything, even with the pharmaceuticals, everything is trial and error. Okay, so don't automatically think that a dosage was came up by a doctor that, oh, that's the best thing possible happen. No, they took a wide range of people and they gave them the same amount. You know what I mean? And out of that same amount, they came up with a ratio. Everybody's different. You're not a cookie cutter. Your endogenous cannabinoid system is different. All 3 of us have very different systems. We could not medicate on the same levels. I don't believe that's a real thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's what I believe. Incredibles Wellness Tincture has been amazing. So.
Well, and you know, you have to treat it like medicine. You know, and there's so many times, there's so many pharmaceuticals that's exactly the way they're going to start you off with a low dose. You're going to go back in 6 weeks and get another, and they're going to. Same way with cannabis. You know, you start with a low dose and you slowly build until, you know, it's right for you.
It's a biological system.
And then be ready for it to change.
Yeah, be ready for it to change and be ready for different terpenes, you know what I mean, to feel those keys, your different receptors, because it's like a beautiful puzzle that, you know what I mean, that you have to really work through, and you have to work through different parts of the puzzle to get to other parts of the puzzle.
Right.
So
like I watch my myrcene levels during the day. I can't, if I have it, I have to have a nap if I have a lot of myrcene during the day.
Oh yeah.
So what I take at night is myrcene heavy. You know? So, you know, that's just it's just an example of how you have to watch your body and chart.
And for my son, like myrcene does well during the day. Sometimes a lot, like the Tangy, the haze, and stuff like that is better for him at night. It's a total.
Well, and that's not uncommon either, because a lot of, you know, ADD medicines are basically stimulants.
You're right.
And if he would be on some of the similar medications that would stimulate but yet calm his brain, that would make sense that those strains would work for him at night.
Right. Cultivars, if you will. We got people watching.
Right.
Cultivars.
That's right.
So there are at least 113 known phytocannabinoids. We were talking about, like you said, like CBD VA, and you know, THC VA, and since we're a hemp company, we hemp is cannabis sativa L with less than 0.3% delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol on a dry weight basis. And so now we have all of these other cannabinoids that are found in both hemp and the devil's lettuce. And what are your thoughts about, and then also all of these terpenes? They're all related molecules.
I think it's one of those things that we're not even really paying attention to. We're starting to reach there. CBG, I've seen those around. CBC, I would love to have that availability. I think like I said earlier, we're a cannabinoid deficient society, and with THCV, THCVA, the acidic sides and stuff like that, we need to have those more readily available. I do not think that we have medical cannabis yet. Personally, I don't think this is medical grade. We're growing some good stuff. We're making concentrates and stuff like that. They're pretty fire, but we're not tapping into the physiological side that we could be changing near enough, in my opinion,
yet.
Through working with different cannabinoids. I think understanding how it all breaks down and which side that we should be working on or which side we should look into more. That's something that we don't have with funding, or I think Israel has a lot more of that than we do. And I think there's a lot of people who are paying more attention to that. I hope we get to the situation to where we can have it ready and available. I would love, I'm giving away all my eggs here, but I would love a situation to where I could get more people to have access to different cannabinoids. I mean, why whenever I go to a brewery, I can pick an IPA or a hazy, or a Hefeweizen and all this other stuff that they picked and extracted from different plants and everything like that. Why can't I have that same ability with what I've been given? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I want THCA, and it's almost impossible.
There's people doing it. You just gotta find the right people. See, that's the thing. You gotta find the right people that are doing it with the right company. THCA, I believe, Harmony has some. I believe Apothecary. You have to just find the right people. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, it's so much of like networking.
Well, and a lot of people, if you're thinking that I can just go to a dispensary and buy it and then that's not always the case. Especially with THCA, it has to be still very fresh, and what you're getting in a dispensary has been cured and dried and been sitting there for a while.
Oh yeah, you're talking about fresh access. You
gotta have fresh access to it, because I had somebody that was going to make it for me, and but I don't have access to fresh material.
I believe there's ways.
Yeah, who wants to grow?
That's why we got to protect home grows first and foremost.
Agreed.
In every one of these states, if the state's medical program does not allow people to grow cannabis at home, at least a few plants, then that's the next step you've got to take.
That hurts me about my home state. It's
because so many people are getting the benefits of juicing. We haven't even started realizing.
Or roots, the benefits of roots. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a lot of people paying attention to.
Well, Flores is. She has a balm that she's making with hemp roots.
Nice. Bath bomb.
Well, a balm like skin balm.
Balm.
Yeah. ALM.
And I've been using it. It really comes in handy when you have a girlfriend that makes it. You stop by the house and you get all the leftovers.
I had our lab director, Krista, made some salve with different terpenes and everything like that. It was like a sports cream and it had like 2,500 milligrams of CBD in it. Wow. I used it for my son. I should show you. Like, I give him a foot massage and everything like that. And that's also the benefit of being connected to a lab. Like, we have excellent stuff that's going to be rolling out very, very soon. Be on the lookout. We're about to take over. So this whole our Coalescent Labs. We just brought together some of the best minds and best people to do this right now in the situation. You know what I mean? I believe that there's a lot of people out there that have done well, but I think there's a lot of people's motives that have been definitely off.
Yeah.
So.
And you can tell who's patience over profits and who's profits and profits, you know.
You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell who takes care of their people and who, you know what I mean, has vertical silos that they work inside of. You know what I mean? That's in anything. You know what I mean? And in any business, if they run it the right way. I've been a part of a couple of different teams here that have not, I guess, been a team. You know what I mean? I grew up playing soccer on a family team. You know what I mean? And so we grew up playing and grew up winning. I know what that feels like. You know what I mean? I know you have to have the right leadership in place, and you have to have the right players in line and to believe in the mission. And we definitely have that now, and it's going to be game time very soon.
Yeah, I'm a sports mom too. It was a team thing.
It's a team. It teaches you a lot. You know what I mean?
It
teaches you a lot. So
it really does to have your kids in sports and have them that, you know, camaraderie.
Oh yeah, I mean, and especially that builds the village sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's more than one person that you have to be accountable for. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Or accountable to. You know, we had the dragons growing up, but it wasn't just the dragons. It was like a whole Munoz family that they had. You know, the Aztecs, Cosmos. You know what I mean? Footloose. You know what I mean? It was a whole different. You know what I mean?
Amarillo.
No, and Abilene.
Abilene.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, that was a whole different situation. A soccer practice, like, we took up like the whole high school. You know what I mean? Because it was just different clubs playing that were all a part of one team, all part of one family.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on in Texas with cannabis?
So 1365. Let me get that shout out if you can see it. 1365. It's on my phone. Yada yada yada.
Wait, let me switch cameras.
HB 1365. Yeah, we got the third vote, but they did some committee substitutions to it. I mean, it's we all know the power of THC. For some reason, I don't know why we know that and other people don't know that. I feel like whenever they made the model to where 0.5 THC was beneficial, that's what they put into the bill, into the law, into the law. And so, like, why would you do that? Why would you only allow 0.5 THC if you thought that you were going to get to a medical situation?
Right.
Like, I don't think that's going to be anything.
That would do nothing.
Yeah.
For a majority of the people we know.
For a huge majority, and if you follow the research, that is not how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you need the entourage effect. I know you guys believe in that. You know what I mean? Like, terpenes working with different cannabinoids. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's about. You know. So if we can get to the people to educate our people who make the decisions on that level, I think we'll reach a whole different part of the crowd that's not paying attention, you know.
Right. Well, it's almost like, you know, you take away the THC. It's like trying to drive a race car without any gas.
Without any gas. Without the right engine.
Right, or without, you know,
without the right engine.
It just it helps everything work so much better.
I agree.
You know, I'll never ever tell anybody they don't need THC. That CBD is all they need if they're chronic.
Especially, although if you got a burn and you slap some CBD on it, you'd be amazed.
Yeah,
you'd be fine.
I mean,
you'd be fine.
Yeah.
You'd be fine. And it does really good with the skin receptors. So there's definitely places for all of these cannabinoids. I think once we pay attention to it, we can do it. I mean, for a long time, I was just like, oh my gosh, people pushing CBD only. Like, you're shaping and conditioning the industry into something that it's not. And I've seen that happen, but I also have seen the huge benefit of having CBD products.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, cool. This is a entourage effect that we need to have going towards the system that doesn't allow us to even have true research, you know what I mean, or even anything off of schedule.
Yeah.
You know?
The only thing CBD only, in, you know, my opinion and from what we know, is animals. You know, CBD only for your pets.
Yeah.
You know.
Why is that?
Supposedly THC is very toxic to them. And so I've gotten
How about that Facebook?
How about that Facebook?
Do you think that? I don't.
Is THC toxic for your animals?
For your animals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I know some guys
I'm dubious.
I know some guys that
dubious too.
There's been some dogs that love to smoke out.
Yeah.
And then there's some dogs that hate it. I've been around. My dog does. He won't. No, he doesn't want to be any part of it. But I know some dogs that will come up, like, if you're smoking, like, your dog like that? I'm like, yeah, like he wants you to blow it to him. I'm like,
My parrots are like that.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a whole. I mean, they're considered. I guess they have the same type of endogenous cannabinoid system, right? I know mammals do. I'm not sure about birds.
I got in this huge discussion with it's a hemp scientist. It's a woman that has worked at all of these prestigious universities, and now she's in the hemp industry, and was able to get in a long discussion, and it was like information way over my head, but it sounded like but anyway, she went in through why dogs and cats cannot have THC. So I don't know. I want more research on that, because I know what it does, what CBD does for my animals and other people's animals, and it's as profound as it is in humans.
Yeah. If
not more so in some cases.
They used to eat a lot of the grass, and they'll find the right grasses to eat. Yeah.
Remember when I like to bring this up from time to time. There was that restaurant on the East Coast that was trying to get lobsters high before they boiled them.
Oh, I saw that.
I got some breaking news about THC.
Good.
Now. It's from Bubba. So, Bubba says THC in too high amounts can cause incontinence in some dogs. Horses love THC, and it was first used in eye treatment.
Nice.
That's
well, maybe that's what she was
stuff?
getting at, is the incontinence. I don't know.
Yeah. But with the lobsters, they were gonna get them high and then boil them. But
infuse them. Huh?
So then I went to PubMed and started Googling or started searching on PubMed, and found out that crustaceans don't have endocannabinoid systems.
Right. Kind of like bees, right?
Right. They have exocannabinoid systems. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You got it. Good setup.
But they really don't have endocannabinoid systems. I can't find out anything about their exocannabinoid system. Finally, somebody laughed at my joke.
I'm a dad, so I laugh at that.
Yeah. You kind of have to. Well, Veedverks and you are teamed up.
Yes, I mean, you guys have been instrumental, and Julie, thank you, like, seriously, for like your encouragement and going out and doing what I like to do. I'm really big on education. I like different pockets to be educated. I think that sometimes in this industry we've seen different silos of education, and I think in order for us to really move the needle where we need to, as far as policy, we need to be educating everyone. And so I've reached out to a large part of the community, people of color, to be the voice that they're not seen as a lot of times. There are a lot of great companies out here who have women of color specifically, who are just the face, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you know about this product, you know how to speak on this product, you know how to educate people on this product. I'm gonna give you 10 to 15 minutes to speak to a crowd of people like-minded enough to educate them on your product and try it out, you know what I mean? So once you can have that direct buy-in, that direct feedback, that is what I think a lot of people miss whenever we have something at the dispensary. You can sell at the dispensary. If they don't like it, they might come back. You never know. If you have direct feedback, you can know right there, like, hey, how can we make this different? Oh, well, I have this other thing that you're probably going to be more interested in. And it's a better selling point, in my opinion, better selling avenue, if you will, to have that direct feedback. Especially we don't have a lot of information about all of our products. You know what I mean? We need a lot more feedback from the point of brand management. I want as much feedback as possible. You know what I mean? Like, let me know where we can shift this growth model and create our target population to where, like, I'm eating all day long because I know my avenue. You know? Yeah. So thank you. I'm creating these women's events that are educational, and I would love to partner with as many empowering women as I can. Men too. Like, don't think that this is a situation to where just because I have women up there speaking and presenting the knowledge in a powerful way, that men can't be involved. I want men to show that we can support these women and build this platform.
Right. And there's something bigger, with this too, because there's so much fear in the Black community about getting into this industry. And when you see,
Well, yeah.
yeah, and very much deserved. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we were just talking about. But when you get these powerful women that come up and they stand there in front of the other, and they go, "Look, I did it. You can do it too." You know, it kind of changes the perception in that area too.
Yeah.
You know, and if they've been thinking about maybe starting a CBD company or whatever they're thinking about, if they can look at these magnificent Black leaders in this community and go, "I can do that too."
I'm trying to get Wanda from Simply Pure.
Yeah,
Wanda, watch out, I'm coming for y'all.
we love you.
Yeah, so I want to get these powerful people that are in place to use your voice. Like, hey, let me provide this platform. Like, that's all I want to do is provide a platform to be the education, to be the middleman. Like, this needs to happen. You know what I mean? We have this amount of people here, and you have you know, brands and stuff like that that need to get to these people. They want to get to these people. We create all types of marketing strategy to get to these people. Let's put them in the same room and talk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I'm doing the same thing in the Latino community.
Mm-hmm.
There's, you know, language barriers and that, but it's not stopping me. It's just there's such a high statistics of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and they're just disconnected from a lot of answers.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's generational. It's one of those things to where like you know, I mean, if your health is genetic, you might want to look at what your family is just consistently eating. You know what I mean? Like what you've been taught to cook, what you've been, you know, taught that was good for you that is not good at all, and especially ways of cooking. You know, like different oils, heating them at different levels, learning that has been huge for our family. Shout out to Healthy Fats.
Right. Well, unfortunately, in a lot of these communities, there's also food deserts, and that adds to it as well.
So here's my dream. Have you ever heard of like aquaponics and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I like to develop, like, there's so much empty property that we don't use anymore that we could be definitely growing food on an astronomical level, and stuff that's not pumped in with who knows what now that's in our oceans. Seriously, like it's
Cocaine in the shrimp. I read that.
Yeah, cocaine and
Speaking
ketamine.
of
Cocaine and ketamine. Yeah.
In I guess outside of Britain.
Well, we definitely know nuclear radiation in the Pacific.
Yeah. But
thank you, Japan.
That was a funny study. Yes. But yeah, I mean, we have to start to control our food system. I think that's where another stuff becomes with taking over your health. You know what I mean? Like, you have to watch what you put in your body. You know. You
really do. You really, really do. Now, you sent me an email, and it had on there, what do you mean by 9 states and in 2 countries? What do you have in 9 states and 2 countries?
Oh, that's just the blow up. I mean, literally, we have everything going on with our company. We're being pulled in all different types of directions. Like, and that's going to change even more and more, because, I mean, you have to pick and choose where you're going. I mean, you can be wanted everywhere, and if you make the wrong decisions, then you'll be nowhere, you know. Right. We have some great leadership at the top of our helm. They've brought me along. I'm gracious for it, you know what I mean. Our 2 owners get along really well, like the way they work well. It's like yin and yang. It's pretty awesome to see. And I'm the general manager. I sit back and I calculate, you know what I mean, and take shots when I need to, you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's been great to see this whole process, because literally, like, whenever you're wanted in that many places, you have to refocus. You know what I mean? I think in a lot of terms, I'm sorry, I'm kind of a gun guy too sometimes. Yeah. So you need to be less like a shotgun and more like a rifle in your life. You know what I mean? Like, find out what you want to do. You know what I mean? Go out and get that big freezer full of meat. You know what I mean? If you're a meat eater, you know what I mean? Like, I prefer to eat natural. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, I'm going to go do that myself, you know. In a lot of situations, like, the only thing that you're going to pull down with a shotgun is birds, small gulls, and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
And you're choosing hydroponics mainly because you can control the contamination.
You can control the contamination. You can control the health of the fish. I mean, from all the way down. I mean, you can control how quick you throw out these vegetables inside these food gardens, where a lot of it isn't available. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of the articles right now for SNAP benefits. You know what I mean? If you're going to be on SNAP, then they're going to take away all the cookies, candies, and everything like that. I think you should get all that poison out in the first place. You know what I mean? There's certain countries that have totally banned 90% of that stuff in the first place. So what are you saying, or what have you been allowing for the population? I don't think anybody should be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give that stuff to my dog.
Nabisco had, and I read this 10 years ago, has macaroni and cheese here, you know, with the dyes and what have you. In Europe, they've been using turmeric as the dye for years, which is actually something that's good for you. Yeah. You know, so they know. These big companies that want to do business in European countries that ban all that, they've already got their ducks in a row, and they're already doing it.
They just shift to the natural version, but it's
right.
It's quote unquote cheaper to do it here. So
so and feed Americans garbage. Yes. I'm sorry, I don't. You know, that's not right.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir, sweetheart.
I know, baby.
Do you think raccoons would be skinnier if we ate better stuff? Are raccoons out in the woods skinnier than well, obviously they are.
Yeah.
Raccoon epidemic.
I mean, even dove. You know, I mean, city dove are way different than country dove.
Did you know pigeons are doves? I didn't know that.
I did
not know that.
If you look them up in a bird book, it'll say rock dove. Yeah, that's when I learned to start liking pigeons. I just realized that they're big fat doves with different color.
You didn't like them
that like to poop on your stuff. No, they congregate in one spot and poop on you. I'm a bird lover.
You're part of the.
I welcome all birds.
Are you part of the Audubon Society?
No, Bat Society.
Nice.
Oh, from Austin. You know the
bridge.
Yeah. The natural bridge cavern. Like there's a part of that cavern system that it's BATS.
It's a whole society. Yeah,
I got to go out there one time and film it.
Nice.
You know, the craziest part of that wasn't the bats; it was the snakes
underneath.
Yeah,
ready to just eat them.
Yep, ready to eat them. That's
crazy.
It's pretty.
We like right down there in Congress Bridge. You can sit right under there when they fly out at night in October, and I think August through October, something like that. It's pretty awesome because millions of bats just fly out, and on the sunset, it looks beautiful. We have Lady Bird Lake running right through there.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I went there to watch him a couple of times.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I don't know if I'd want to be in there sitting with the snakes.
No, you don't sit in with the snakes.
No, it's off to the side.
Okay.
You're sitting off to the side. You're not in the snake pit. Come on. Come on. Just because you're from the bayou, you can be right next to the snakes. No,
well, I know my kids with the little fruit bats, you know, they would throw it at dusk. You know, you could throw things up in the air and see the little fruit bats trying to come and get it. Yeah. I don't know what they're
smaller. They're smaller bats.
Yeah, they're smaller bats. Yeah. They eat a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Why are they called fruit bats then?
I have no clue.
They only eat fruit mosquitoes that are
fruity mosquitoes
that bite people. Do you do any more acting?
Up here in Denver, I haven't gotten into more like corporate acting, but there are some amazing artists here in Denver, like Sarah Christine. I was in her shout out Sarah Christine. I was in her music video. Jacob Fillmore was the video director of that, good friend of mine. They have a couple more projects that I'll be in, upcoming, but with Napalm, another Denver artist. There's some amazing Denver artists, and I kind of consider him like a cannabis artist at the same time. And there's gonna be a good this summer. I'm so excited. This summer is gonna be amazing. Between the amount of shows that happen and the amount of people that are trying to get out there and make something happen, it's going to be amazing.
We've been thinking about doing some commercials. We need to put together some commercials, and I want to do one about having Vegas elbow.
Just Vegas pump elbow? Or
yeah, just
slot
machines, punching a horse, massage gone wrong, like overnight marriage, just basically all the ways you could jack up your elbow in Vegas and be, you've got Vegas elbow. Put some Amelia on that. Dun, dun.
Nice.
Something like, but I haven't tried to make like a legit commercial before.
It's pretty simple, man. You should go after it.
We'll work on it. If you guys have good ideas, let us know.
I'll put you in contact with my people.
Yeah. Cool. We made a ghost video, so that was
fun.
Like, we could at least bring that level of production to it, not TV production. You have any? Do you know any jokes?
See, like all of my jokes would be like your level, like dad jokes and stuff like that, like or extremely offensive.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? Like that's no jokes. Like it's like what we consider light locker room. You know what I mean? It's not anything intense. You know. But yeah.
That's why I keep sticking with my exocannabinoid system joke.
It's funny.
I wonder if the shrimp got high on that cocaine and that ketamine. Because do they? I mean, I wonder if they do. If they don't have endocannabinoid systems, and
What are they doing with that?
I don't know.
You never know. I mean, those are. I think those are crustaceans are a whole different process. You know what I mean? You never know what they're using it for. You never know.
What are they using it for?
Watch out for their kids. You know what I mean?
It's like that suit in Black Panther that absorbs energy.
Yeah,
they use it for. They're collecting it in their systems, and someday they're going to rebel.
Shrimp everywhere rebelling. That would be dangerous.
That would be intense.
That'd be dangerous.
Well, this
Super shrimps.
I'm gonna try and be disciplined on my time. So we're in the window where we got about 2 minutes left, and then I'm gonna cut it. So do you have any famous words that you'd like to tell people?
I'd like to just say, like, experience life as much as you can. Try things outside the norm. Don't just rely on what people tell you. If you do that, your mind will be stuck inside of a box, and you can't really go places you need to whenever you feel like you're stuck in a box. With psilocybin, with ayahuasca, with, you know what I mean, whatever you do, you know what I mean, whatever it is. I know all that stuff is whatever, but go to those places where they are legit. Get you a shaman, get you someone to guide you, or whatever like that, and experience different sides of your psyche. I think with all the bombardment of, hey, this is what the world is, it's now provided a matrix situation, and a lot of people don't know how to unplug. And if you don't know how to unplug, then you're constantly on. If you're constantly on, then you're tapping yourself out on both ends. So in order to reset and be right for humanity, please reset and get the right help you need. Mental health level, from plugging into the right people, from depression. A lot of people deal with depression. I deal with depression. And just you have to stay plugged in with the right people. You know, don't isolate yourself. Don't go through those same cycles. We're all here for a reason at this time, at this moment, to be who we are.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Glen Mayes, thank you very much for joining us. Julie, thank you as always. And thank you everybody for tuning in.
Shout out to the Coalescent team.
Coalescent Labs. We'll be looking for their Facebook page here pretty soon.
Website and everything.
The website, everything.
Everything.
Cool. So thanks for joining. And as always, I'm Travis Lippert, reminding you, if you don't get hemp here, get hemp somewhere.